And welcome back, you guys. It is Poppy from the Masculine Education Network, or M.E.N. So today's topic is going to be me letting you know something about a little life lesson that I learned, a little experience that I learned, and I want to pass it on. You know, as men, we tend to be the fairer sex that gets with each other and educate each other on our past experiences, specifically when it comes to our mistakes with women. And we want to share that information with other men so then that way they do better than us. We're always uplifting each other because when it comes to the hierarchy of men, women, children, we really don't have anyone else to fall back on but ourselves. So this is one of those instances where I want to share a private experience with you guys that I learned, and I want to pass it on. So a while ago, I purchased that awesome car. And so most people out there probably know where this story is going to go. I thought to myself, well, I'm a man that's on his path and purpose. I'm focused. I'm taking care of everything that I have to take care of in my life. And I thought to myself, you know what? Let me go ahead and spoil myself, do something for myself, because I'm so used to doing stuff for others. It's time for me to focus on me and purchase something for myself. So I did that. And I have a few other things in my arsenal as far as what other people would consider luxurious. So I decided to do this one for me. And I'm here in San Diego, California, and I decided to hit the beach area, specifically Pacific Beach. And I went out. I had a fun time, enjoyed myself, went out solo like I always do because that's just how I roll. I'm a party boy from Vegas. So, of course, I'm going to hit a scene, a venue, and I'm just gonna go all out and enjoy myself by myself and wind up making a whole bunch of friends and taking a whole bunch of people home. That's just how my life is. So I go out and I go do this. I realized during this time in which the whole day is over, it's like 1, 2 in the morning. I got 2, 3 people loaded up inside of that, two people loaded up inside of there, and I come home and party and blah 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 blah, right? So what I realized, you know, they get to my place, they're like, man, this place is huge, like, you live here by yourself, like, who are you, blah blah blah, you know, things like that. And they're starting to figure things out. Oh, okay, your name is DJ Poppy. Oh, you must be famous. Are you verified? All this stuff is going through their head, and I'm not even paying attention really to what they're saying, because I'm like, I really, like, you're just saying stuff for conversation. I get it, but I should have paid more attention to what they were saying and what the questions they were asking. So at the very end of all that, you know, they Uber home at some point the next day, and I realize I have access to a lot of good friends, and they have access to me when it comes to anything that they need. They know I'm there for them. So I have access to high value men here in San Diego. I have access to a lot of party promoters. I have access to a lot of just important people here in San Diego, and a little bit in the LA area. Not a lot. I'm not gonna hype myself up and make it sound like I got these good connects in LA, because we know LA is hardcore. But I have 1 or 2 people out there. But here in San Diego, I know enough people to where I can say, okay, I'm established enough to where I can reach out and ask for favors like that, and they would know that I would do a favor back at any time. So these girls are coming over and asking certain questions, and I realize I was making a mistake. What was the first mistake I was making? Number 1, picking them up in this bad boy. I should have picked them up in my truck. Simply picked them up in my truck, went out in my truck. Why? Because my intentions were not to use this as bait that night. Yeah, I earned this vehicle. I paid for it. I want to be able to show myself a good time without it necessarily meaning, look at me, get in my car, come to me. I can do that with my body, with my face, with my attitude, with my presence. I don't need that car for that. And I know that. I should have used that day. I should have just walked in there to the venue with my truck. I didn't have my car with me in the inside of the venue, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't need the car to get the women that I did in the inside of the venue. What having that car did was change their mindset when they were with me. Because when they were with me originally, they were like, this guy is awesome. He has a good party vibe. He's attractive to me. I really like him. Hey, homegirl, let's go leave with him. I could have left in my truck and they still would have came. But the problem is when I got this and I brought them into that changed their mindset. Their mindset was now, okay, we like him. We're going to do stuff. But what can I get out of this dude now? What can I get out of him outside of what I would have been doing already had he pulled up in a truck? What am I about to get out of him now financially, monetarily? It shifted their mindset. They get to my place, they keep thinking, oh wow, okay, well this guy got stuff. What can I get out of him? That's why they were asking the questions. Are you verified? Are you this? No, I'm not verified. I don't need to be verified. Like, I don't need that. Many of us out here do not need to be verified to get on our path and purpose, to continue on what we're doing. Don't need that. But I knew why she was asking that question. It was to see how far she can make it up the totem pole. If I would have told her I was verified, and I was, and showed her I was verified on any social media, I probably would have been able to snap my finger and say whatever I wanted, and she would have did it, because she wasn't doing it for me. She was doing it for my status. Now, we know those are one of the many things that women love is a man's social status, outside of his financial status, physical status, things of that nature. So I knew I'd messed up. So I wanted to share that with you guys and say, you don't need to set rat traps, right? You don't need to set rat traps. I got this car for me because my mentor had this car way back in the day, and it inspired me to get on my path and purpose. And as a reward, not just for myself, but for him, when I purchased the car, I brought it to him and said, I want you to be the first person to ride it. And he was the first person to ride it. And I told him, you were my inspiration. You will always be my inspiration as my mentor. I learned so much from you. This was your first car that you picked me up to go take and get tacos in. I want to return that to you to show you your mentoring got me to get this car as well. Now he got a Corvette C8. Anyway, my point is, I didn't need to use this as a rat trap to be able to get these girls. I already had them. So don't make mistakes. The education that you guys need to pull out of this topic is that you don't need to have flashy things to get women. And even if you do have these flashy things, don't use them. Don't use them. I learned from that mistake. This was in summer of 2020 when I did that. So I've learned from that mistake. And ever since then, none of the girls in my rotation have any clue that I have this car. I never open up my garage. They see my truck. That's the only vehicle that they ever see. They see my truck. They don't know what vehicles I have in the inside of my garage. So even if I were to show them this, of course, it's going to change their mindset. That's not why I got the car. I got the car for myself because I could afford it and I earned it and I wanted to reward myself. So learn from my mistake. Granted, I knew what to do that night because I knew they were asking these questions. We still had fun at my place. We still had fun. But the point is, I wind up dropping them like a bad habit because they were hitting me up asking me for favors about people I knew in San Diego. Could I get them into certain mansion parties that I had access to? Could I get them into different venues, VIP or VVIP? They were asking me all these questions, and I knew if I was just that dude with the truck, they wouldn't be asking me these questions. It just would have been a fun night that night and that they Uber home and get out my place. But they knew this guy's connected. Let's keep the questions going. Now, I'm nowhere close to being upset about the women. They did exactly what female nature is supposed to do. Secure a high value male. Obtain resources if you can from that man. I'm in no way shooting at these girls because we had a fun time. It was cool. They went about their business. I went about mine. But what I am shooting at is myself for bringing that bad boy up and accidentally using it as a rat trap. And I shouldn't have did that. But I learned my lesson. And I've never done it ever since. I go out in my truck. I go out in my car sometimes just to drive it around, flex it, do something like that, get some miles on it. I barely got any miles on that thing. course, I got to keep it running. But yeah, besides that, to enjoy it, drive down the coast, you know, do something like that. Go down, my homeboys, we take our cars out, go to car clubs, do stuff like that. But besides that, I'm in the truck, hitting the clubs, still bagging. So, learn from my lesson. This is Poppy at the Masculine Education Network. Men, let's go. We need to continue to push content like this. Please like, subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so then that way every single time I'm releasing content, you are going to be one of the first people to view it and use it. Educate yourself with what we have going on here at our channel. Till next time, talk to you guys later. We out.